Hey, my friend Luke here from DukeWilliamsMusic.com, going over a concept called ROI today. What is ROI? In the business world, it stands for return on investment. So what does this mean for you if you're an independent musician or band? Well, when you look at your merchandise, the stuff that you pay to have pressed, let's look at CDs and see what kind of deal you're getting. Now, CDs are relatively cheap these days. You can get them for about $1 a piece, $1,000 for 1,000 CDs. That's a really good deal. It's gonna be a little bit more if you go with really fancy packaging, such as a digipack or something, but still not going to be more than like $2 a piece. So if you spend $1 per unit on a CD, you sell them at your merch booth for $10. That's a 9 times ROI. That's huge. That's an absolute huge ROI. CDs are an excellent return on investment. However, there's something called supply and demand. And unfortunately, in 2017, no one wants CDs other than maybe your mom or a few super fans that have CD players in their cars. Or maybe you have an older crowd. If you're like a coffee shop folky singer-songwriter type, you might have an older crowd that has CDs at a CD player at home. But keep in mind that new cars and new computers, I know the new MacBooks don't have CD drives. So this is where we are in terms of the market. The market knows that CDs are on their way out. Car companies, computer companies, they know CDs are no longer relevant. So unless you have an established clientele that wants CDs, skip them. But if you do have an established fan base that wants CDs, then you're in luck because they are a huge ROI. Now, vinyl records, for about $3,000, you can get 500 nicely printed with nice full color jackets and stuff. A little bit expensive, but $6 a pop. You can sell them at your merch booth for 18. The reason I'm going to say 18 is because this, keep this in mind, remember this, 3 times is the minimum ROI that you want for anything merch related, anything business related. So if you spend 6 per unit, you have to get 18 minimum. If you spend 10, you need 30. If you spend 5, you need 15. You want that to be higher, but that's the minimum, 3 times. Cassettes. Some people still like cassettes. They're making a comeback in certain circles. Cassettes are relatively cheap. You can get about 300 for $600, nicely packaged. That's $2 a pop. That's a really good price. There's very little overhead, very little upfront cost. $600 is not a huge investment. You get them for $2 each. You could sell them for 10. You could sell them for 8 even. That's 4 times your ROI. So that's a good ROI. You could sell them for 10, get 5 times. So cassettes, if you have a market that will buy them, that's a really good low-end $600 investment, and you could really make a profit if you could flip these for 10 or $8 each. So let's take a look at another option, which is digital, which you should be on digital anyway. I guess this isn't an option. This is mandatory now in 2017. But TuneCore, RootNote, CD Baby. These are 3 tried and true online distributors that will put your music on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. I guess some people like Amazon. Um, and many others, but those are just three of the main ones that all three of these companies will put your music on for about 35 to 50 bucks a year. So that's a good ROI because you only have to sell a handful of albums to make your 50 bucks back. However, you don't have one middleman, you have two here. So when you sell an album on iTunes, iTunes takes a cut and then your distributor takes a cut. And by the time it gets to you, say this is you here. Sorry, I'm looking through the camera lens and not at the paper. So see, there you go. This is you here, and you're wondering when am I going to get paid? Because it might be 6 months from now. Or it might be 3 months. Some of them pay you quarterly. Some of them pay you when you reach a certain milestone, maybe every $1,000 or every $3,000 or something like that. But anyway, these are all really good companies. I personally like TuneCore. That's just a personal preference, but RootNote is very good. CD Baby does the trick. So it's just whatever you want to go with. But the number one place that you can put your music right now is Bandcamp. Bandcamp is my fave. Why is Bandcamp my fave? Well, let's look at many reasons why. One, they only take 15 to 10% of the cut. They're the only middleman, and they pay you within 24 to 48 hours of every sale. And what's your startup cost for Bandcamp? $0. So once you pay for mixing and mastering and recording, whatever your fees were for that, you can distribute on Bandcamp for free. They will pay you 85 to 90% of your album sales. So if you sell an album on Bandcamp, and you can set the price of whatever you want, it's a really cool thing. But say you sell for $10, it's kind of industry standard right now. $10 for every album sold, you're gonna make $8.50 to $9. Pretty sweet, right? That's pretty sweet. So you could put your album on Bandcamp tomorrow, and you could sell 10 albums and make $90 instantly. You could sell 100 albums and make $900. You do the math. I mean, that number could go up fast if you're selling at $10 a pop. Email everybody on your email list and tell them you got a new album on Bandcamp, and you'll be rolling in it in no time. This is cool. It takes a little bit longer to get set up, and it's worth it because some people are only on Spotify. Some people only buy on iTunes. Some people only buy on Amazon. And other people only buy on Bandcamp. So be on all of these. Another cool thing about Bandcamp is you can sell WAV and FLAC files, higher quality audio that a lot of audio files and music junkies, music gurus, audio gurus really like, whereas iTunes, Spotify, this is all MP3 stuff, so your music's compressed. It's not how the artist intended it to be. Think of waves as like a really good jazz or classical album on vinyl versus a really shitty pop song on a boombox. That's the difference in audio quality. Okay, like a compressed jazz or classical tune is still going to be compressed, but I'm just saying that's the old school comparison. Back when you had a turntable versus a boombox, just think vinyl versus boombox on the radio. That's the quality difference between Bandcamp and iTunes, and that's another great reason to support Bandcamp, because they care how your music sounds. They want it to sound the best it can. They also want to pay you fairly. I think that's a very fair payment, and they pay you promptly, which is how you should be paid. It's your music. When you sell it at a show, you get this money right away. So when you sell it online, you should get that money within 24 to 48 hours. Zero setup costs. This is still all worth it because, like I said, you want to be where your people are, and some of your people are not going to be on Bandcamp. They're only going to be on iTunes and Spotify. And then you just got to figure out for the digital stuff, do you have enough fans that'll buy cassettes? Do you have enough fans that'll buy vinyl? Do you have enough fans that'll buy CDs? Figure out the cost, figure out your ROI. CDs are by far your best deal, but can you sell 1,000 CDs, or will they just lie around in boxes in your house? You know, cassettes are very reasonable. You can get them for $1, $2, $3 a piece. You can make a good ROI. Is very little upfront cost. And vinyl's a little more expensive, but vinyl's really sweet. Vinyl's timeless. I think vinyl's going to be around for quite some time, whereas CDs are probably on their way out. So things to think about. I hope that answered some of your questions. If you have any questions regarding this or any music career stuff, hit me up. DukeWilliamsMusic.com. Wishing you the best of luck and success. Peace.